is there doing work as we commemorate Nelson Mandela's death 2 years ago on this day. Sam Marshall, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Libo. Good morning to our viewers. Thank you very much for coming back to us. Again, as you said, we are coming to you live from the south of Johannesburg at the Apartheid Museum. And this is where the extensive collection goes live today. It really is an amazing exhibition. A little bit earlier, we spoke to the CEO of the Nelson Mandela Foundation, Selo Atang. Right now, I'm joined by the Chief Marketing Officer of SA Tourism, Margie Whitehouse. And they've been doing some really amazing work in not only sharing the heritage experience, but also sharing Tata Nelson Mandela's journey. As you know, on this day 2 years ago, that's when the world heard for the first time of the passing of this really great man. Margie, thank you very much for joining me here on Morning Live. Just very quickly, just reflect for me personally on this day. It's 2 years we are commemorating the second anniversary of his passing. And I think a lot of South Africans, a lot of people, global citizens are still feeling the effects of that passing.
Good morning, Sam. Good morning, viewers. Yeah, you know, it's we see here just what an extraordinary impression this man has made in the entire world, and we see how he attracts visitors to our shores. Not only visitors to our shores, but visitors in our country, travelling within our country to be able to commemorate and remember and celebrate this extraordinary life. And that's what we try to make sure that we do and support in building some sort of a heritage tourism feature.
Heritage tourism has really exploded in the last couple of years. I mean, if this exhibition here today is extensive, we're not only expecting South Africans or people living on the African continent, but people to travel from abroad to come and see it. Absolutely.
Heritage tourism is a very big part of what we as South Africans offer, and we have a really wonderful story to tell through Nelson Mandela and through a number of our other heritage offers. So it becomes something that becomes very real, very authentic, very much part of what we can offer and what the world is looking for.
Talk to me about the app, because there's in actual fact 2 apps that are centered, one around heritage tourism and one specifically that looks at late Tata Madiba.
Yes, so the Madiba's Journey app, which is the one that's really pertinent for today, is in partnership with the Nelson Mandela Foundation, and it looks at 27 different sites where he's made an indelible impression, mirroring the 27 years obviously spent in prison. So from places like the capture site in KwaZulu-Natal to Robben Island, obviously where he spent his years in incarceration. It's a wonderful app that allows people to interact with the site itself and explore more about the site. And it's been interesting that we've seen the demand around the world for this app. So we, in the process at the moment, it's going to be downloaded in all the countries, from Mandarin through to, it's already in Portuguese, Brazilian, and we'll work with that so that the visitors to our shores will be able to understand and enjoy the information in their own language. That's how important it's become.
So currently you're busy translating it into other languages?
Yes, it's already in Brazilian Portuguese, and at the moment we're busy working through the different languages. So for example in the United States, where we see an enormous interest in heritage tourism and an enormous interest in this particular whole journey, we see a number of Americans taking up this offer and really elevating it within the States itself to say, what is the story that we can follow and what is the site that we can follow in these 95 years of this wonderful man's life? How can we follow that and explore it within South Africa?
SA Tourism and the work you're doing with children to get them to venues like this, download the app, interact experience?
It's a wonderful opportunity to be able to bring our children in to understand just what our heritage is and to be able to see through their eyes for the first time what it means to them. So we're busy following them, taking them through a number of journeys today, taking them through this beautiful Apartheid Museum and then to the Nelson Mandela Foundation, to the Memory Centre, and talking to them and understanding from their eyes, from their point of view, what this first journey for them is, which mirrors and reflects what we're doing now in terms of encouraging all South Africans to take a first short left, as we call it, to see, because there's so many opportunities. There are a million experiences out there that South Africans can experience. And we really want to elevate that.
This morning on Morning Live, we're asking the question, where were you on this day 2 years ago when you heard the news for the first time? I've asked it of the CEO. Just reflect for me quickly, where were you when you heard of the passing of Tata Nelson Mandela?
Just around the corner from his house. I'm fortunate to live just around the corner from his house, so I could be straight there and be outside and be supportive with all the number of people that arrived straight away.
One of the things that we're talking about a lot, and this word has come up really a lot, the legacy, the questions around how we need to interpret the work that Tata Madiba has done, not only the 67 minutes, but last year, this time, in the first commemoration, there were activities from the 4th of December all the way through to February. Just some of your insights in that, and what were some of the discussions within SA Tourism?
Well, I think we very strongly support the Make Every Day Mandela Day. So whilst we absolutely want to always resonate around special days like today that commemorate really deep and significant events that pass, every day needs to be a thought process around Mandela Day. And with this whole activation around children and first timers, we're going to be making sure that all the time we find a reason to take children, people on a journey that reflect and understand and to see the significance of what he meant to us as a nation.
We talked about a little bit earlier, you touched on the fact that the app is being translated into other languages because of the demand for it. But on today, 2 years ago, we saw a massive outpouring globally. What are some of the activities or some of the countries that have been in communication with you that are actively doing stuff today?
A number of our countries are. We have country offices all around the world that are standing up and remembering. And in the States, there's a whole point of view video going out across the States talking about what this day is and what the significance is and what it means to them. So each and every one of our offices certainly do reflect on this, and it's an opportunity for us to pause and reflect as a nation, isn't it?
Going forward now, I mean, the app has been designed to enhance your experience. There's video content on there. What are some of the other innovations that you're planning to make it more user-friendly? We did a little bit earlier off-air talk about the fact that this app has been around for a while now. People are around the world, there's a demand for it, but South Africans are not logging on or downloading it the way they should.
Yeah, they aren't, and we need to just increase the noise about it and get people to do it. But the wonderful thing is it gives you real-time distances, so it'll tell me if we went onto it now, it'll tell us exactly how far we are away from the capture site, for example. It links into Google Maps, it links into the events and the activities around it. It's mainly an audio stream, but it does have a lot of visual content as well. So we will continuously enhance it. We work very closely with the Nelson Mandela Foundation to make sure it's completely accurate and giving information. And even for those people who aren't going to be able to get to the sites, it's still a wonderful thing to download for free off Google Play, off the App Store, to just be able to understand and learn and see a little bit more about the different sites that we have and what it reflects on his 97 years.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much for joining me. That's Margie Whitehouse. She's the Chief Marketing Officer for SA Tourism, talking to us about this day and the amount of work that they're doing around the world and how everybody, all globally, how we're reflecting on this day that's been very personal to us. It was this day in 2013 that the world reacted to the news of the passing of what we can only describe as a fantastic statesman and a person of the world. In actual fact, we've seen so many people react to it. A little bit later, we'll have a chat to Wadey, who's the Deputy Director here at the Apartheid Museum. We'll talk about the exhibition, but we'll also talk about some other things that they're currently doing to enhance this experience. Let's go back to the studio.